It's recording.
You guys.
We're such a mess. Hello. Who freaking cares about that song, huh?
We just formulated an idea.
So I press start and then I just throw this in and she's like, ooh, I like it. And I'm like, we can't even stop. You can't stop us. And then I didn't even do the thing that I was supposed to do to put the music on. Whatever. This is how we show up for podcasts. And you know what? I'm not sorry. I am not saying sorry for it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. This is the best platform. I wish we could just do this every day.
It's pretty awesome. I love it so much. I love recording podcasts.
It's like no one else is listening. Like every time we're here, like that last podcast where you opened up about your boyfriend, I just loved it. Like I feel like no one else will know about this. You know what I mean? But the world will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also had a boyfriend from grade 9 to grade 11. What are these weird, like the first boy, you know what I mean? Did not sleep with him though. Did not sleep with him.
What?
Yeah. Interesting, huh? It was like on and off, and like I was like always chasing him, and then we would always like see each other kind of here and there, and then we'd be like, okay, you know what I mean?
What is he doing now?
And then Jeff rolled around. What is he doing now? He's like he works at the prison. He yeah, that's it. That was my only boyfriend.
Okay.
That's it. And then it was Jeff.
Yeah.
She says just Jeff.
See, I got to have some.
You got to have some fun, huh?
Yeah, because so I had that boyfriend until like first year university.
Yeah.
And then like basically I didn't really have a boyfriend
for years until Neil probably.
Like I had like a couple months here, a couple months there, but nothing like serious. My memory is so bad though. Maybe there's like a boyfriend listening. He's like, what about me?
No boyfriends are listening to this.
But it was Neil and I like first like fell in love. It was like I was only in second year university. So
yeah, no, there's a lot of time there where you just like all of the men.
And
did you have sex with a lot of people? Did you have sex with a lot of people? Define a lot, she says.
Define a lot.
More than 10.
Definitely. But I think probably less than 20.
Okay. Oh, we have a good ballpark here.
I would need my best friend from high school, who's like my only really friend that I'm still friends with from high school.
I get that.
She has an amazing memory. And
we need her she needs to come down. I want to meet her. And then we can just go through the list. We should write them down. Please. Can we do this?
She is coming to Cat Nat.
No way.
Yeah, it's her 40th. So she's like doing that for her 40th.
Oh, can we do something after that? That time? Oh, Cat Nat is actually in 8 days from today. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Like you mean go out after?
Yeah. Can we like make this like epic night?
Yes. We have to work the next day. Remember, boss.
I mean, I can arrange something. Things can be arranged.
That's the beauty of being the boss.
Exactly. Nah, for real. I'm not even kidding. Let's talk about this after we're done recording.
I think that's great. So she would help me and sometimes I'll reach out to her. I'm like, who's this person? She's like, are you kidding me? Like she remembers everybody and everything. So
you're the worst with names. You're the worst with names. Not the worst, but you're not great.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Here's what I have to say from having only slept with Jeff and and still with my high school sweetheart. If he was not 10 on 10 gorgeous in my mind. Like I was looking at him the other day. He's tanned. His body is it's really good for a 35-year-old. Like it's good.
Like his butt.
And then he's still very much if you were to leave me, I would just copy paste. Like I would just physically nothing wrong with him in my mind. Like physically, I would just want the exact same thing.
Okay.
Blue eyes, blondish, like that's what I go to. So I clearly like chose well physically, freaking 20 years ago. Anyways, if I wasn't like happy in my marriage and things are good and very sexually attracted to him, I see why people would definitely cash in the "we met too young" card.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, because chances are when you were young, you did not choose the guy that you would still be attracted to at 35, that you would still like feel like you still have some connection. You know what I mean? And you actually still like that person. That's like quite rare. Like, I understand why it doesn't, I think it's like rare that you ended up making that choice at that time, that it's still the same. Like, you know?
Yes. I must say though, you need to give yourself credit. You work very hard at having an amazing marriage. And you really do. So like you need to take some credit. That didn't just happen.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yes. And I see what you're saying, because you have to create that language that we do have things in common, whatever. Because I could play a different game in my mind and say like, oh my God, we're so different. Because we obviously, I think if people know us, we are different.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff and I.
But you guys have grown together and worked to like coexist and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
So yeah, being the sexually experienced out of two of us, there's like fun out there, but like meh, you know.
That's what I wanted to say. This is where I was going with that. Is I would be jealous of the fact that I didn't get that fun. I didn't. We got married at 23. Like, that's young. You probably just met Neil around that age, right? At 22, probably.
Yeah, I was younger. But we weren't together. We like were together for like a summer, and then he broke up with me.
Yeah. So your real relationship where you got married you were still very young. I'm not saying that you met him late, but like by the time you met him, I was married.
Yes.
Like that's like a difference, you know? And so we got married really young. We stayed with our parents. We went to the university that's close. Like everything was safe. Everything was safe. And it's very interesting because that's not my personality right now. I'm like, let's be different. Let's like, you know, so I feel like maybe I missed out on a few years. I've always said that, but
I feel like you're more jealous that I like lived in Australia than the amount of men I had sex with. The number of Australian men I had sex with.
You had sex with Australian men while you were there with Neil?
No, remember I had my camp life. So at camp.
Right. Okay. You didn't sleep with them in Australia, but they were Australian men. I see it. I follow your story. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So there was some adventures. I also traveled without Neil. I traveled around Europe with a friend. And there was camp. So there were some adventures.
See, zero adventures. Now I'm having many adventures with my husband, but none of these like, that's why I'm like, I think it's important if you've only slept with one man and that you need to keep the alive because you didn't get any
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you know who slept with a lot of people?
Who? Neil.
Just such a slut. Like,
oh my God. What do we think his number is?
Oh, like, cause he backpacked for years, right? He worked at a hostel. Imagine you arrive and it's Neil. He's so charming. He's so funny. He has an accent. You feel safe with Neil too. Like Neil, you feel safe with Neil.
Neil very much gives what women are looking for in terms of like, oh yes. Like you're like you said, you feel safe with Neil. Whereas men, what they're looking in women is very physical. It's very whatever, but we're looking more for the like charm me, make me laugh, you know, that, and he has all of that. So women are like, sure, I'll have sex with you.
I'm texting him at work, talking about how slutty you were on the podcast.
Shut up.
Can we guess how many people you slept with?
Okay, I am guessing, since you're in the dizaines, I am going to guess, and you're saying he's such a slut, maybe in the like 30s or 40s?
I don't even think he could guesstimate, to be honest.
Because he met you, because you guys still have, what, a 7-year difference?
5 years, yeah.
Okay, so still, he still met you young. Like, it's not like he was 35, so he had like all that time to have sex with people. Like,
so we've been in a committed relationship, I think, since 2005, maybe.
The fact that you don't know this is just mind-boggling to me. I don't understand.
What year we started dating officially?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say 2005. So how many years is that from now?
I mean, us was 2004 and we're at 18, so 17.
17.
And he's 45?
Yeah, turning 45.
Yeah, he was like 28. Like 28, late 20s.
Okay, so he had like 10 years of slutting it up. Let's say. Maybe the next podcast, I need to ask him if I'm allowed to tell the story, but the next podcast, I'll tell you about how he lost his virginity.
Ask him right now on the text.
He answered me. He fucking never answers me, okay? That man, I could text him and be like, I need you. The kid literally doesn't answer me. Text me. Okay, ready?
Did he answer?
I don't know if he means, he says 20 to 25 lies. Or does he mean 2025?
Oh my God. Maybe he's saying 2025 while being sober.
Definitely.
Oh my God.
Anyway, good times. Good times.
Good times, everyone. Whew. All right, let's talk about nighttime eating. Oh my goodness, everyone. I feel like it's sometimes we do have good stories and it just flows and we're going for it. It's like more half advice, half personal lives. And I think you're enjoying it.
It's fun. If it was all just like, let's talk about weight loss, it'd be boring.
Yeah, it's J&A. Like we get to do whatever. And that's why I like the podcast. I'm not like we're on this schedule. It's just whatever flows. And I don't have expectations with the podcast. Although, what are we going to do when we hit 1 million listens, downloads?
I don't understand how the last podcast got double. Like, how did that happen?
I have no clue. I don't know if they like miscounted, but it was like there was one podcast, you guys, that you really loved. It was the one about our struggles or something like that. It was April 7th and it had almost over 4,000 downloads.
Has there been a new podcast since? Like all of a sudden, did we just double our podcast listeners overnight?
Yeah, the one on Monday was the new one. No, and it was 2,000.
Normal. Also, as we're talking about this, guys, if you enjoy our podcast, it would be amazing if you shared it on your platforms. If you tagged us in it, you can actually, someone said this the other day, you can share it to a friend. So there's like little dots somewhere on.
Maybe, Alicia, it would help if we knew how podcast works so we could grow it. But
listen, Jose, I know. So look, there's 3 little dots there, you guys. You see that?
You can copy the link and whatever.
Yeah, I think you can even just send it to, copy link, and you can just like text it to a friend or email or whatever. But that really does help us.
Oh my God.
So we're
make
gonna
our podcast be like our only thing. Like make our podcast be like a thing, you know?
We would have to, if it starts to become a thing, we need like ads.
Yeah. No, I don't want to be like, we'll be right back after the break. I don't like that.
I know.
I'm annoyed every time I listen, and I understand why. So I keep listening. I understand why they're doing it. I understand that. And I think people that aren't in content creating, like that's what we do. We create content. People that aren't in that world, they're like, oh, they're so annoying with their ads. I'm like, people, they need to pay their bills. You want to keep listening to them. They need to pay in some way. And this is free for you. Like, I feel like people don't understand that part. They're like, oh, aren't you just an influencer? Well, you know that I need to influence something for me to get paid. Like, just like do that. People struggle with that. Like to understand that piece. And I understand it's just not your world, but we're in that world. So I understand why there's ads in podcasts, but I love that we don't have to, you know, because this is not our job. Like this is not, we're just showing up because we love it. It's just
extra fun,
extra happiness and fun. Okay. Nighttime eating.
I feel like this is your jam and not my jam.
Okay. I can start. Okay. Here's the thing with nighttime eating. Nighttime eating is this thing that if you've been in the weight loss industry and you've tried to lose weight, it's one of those things that many people will relate to, that especially 7 p.m. There was this moment in the weight loss, maybe in 2007, where it was this new thing where if you just stop eating at 7 p.m., bam, all of your issues and all of the obesity issues of life is over almost, which is ridiculous, but that's pretty much how they sold it to us. And then without even knowing, that created a certain relationship for us with nighttime eating. So I think that many people are listening to this and they're like, you're so right. Like you have a certain relationship with nighttime eating. You either don't think about it or you overthink about it and you don't have a good relationship with it. Nighttime eating was that lingering noise from the diet industry that I think was one of the last ones to go for me.
Okay.
So yeah, it was one of the last ones to go. Like I knew that it didn't friggin' matter if I ate carbs. Like I was never afraid of bread. Some people are literally afraid of bread.
I
was
know.
never, like, yeah, I was literally never afraid of like carbs. I was never afraid of sugar. Like macros for me was never. It was noise. There was a time where I was like calculating my sugar though. Like I remember when I thought that my abs were because I wasn't eating a lot of sugar. And then like this was like 6-7 years ago. And then I realized obviously we definitely went deep into calorie deficit, and who freaking cares about sugar? We definitely evolved in how we think and what we know. And then I tested that out and I realized that the abs weren't going away if I ate an ice cream sandwich and bread for breakfast and whatever. So I was like, oh my God, this is life. So honestly, I think what helps with lingering noise is experiencing it and then realizing it doesn't change a thing. So you're like, oh, well, I'm going to keep doing this then.
That's a great point. And, we talk a lot about noise, diet, trauma. Like that's a lot of what we break down at Your Way Weight Loss. We basically like break it all down and then we build it back up. And the process, I think, for anyone that is truly going to change the way they think about, let's say, nighttime eating, you need to understand calorie deficit. Then you need to experience it. So you need to not just believe that you can eat at night and still lose weight. You need to do it.
1,000,000%. So for me, nighttime eating, I would still say, Jose, if you didn't eat at night, you would have better results. Even if I knew I could eat at night, okay? I would always be like, imagine if you were the person that didn't eat at night. But if you don't know me, I'm telling you right now, I love eating at night.
It might be one of your most fit, that would be one of the last things that we should ever take from your life.
You're so right. I really connect to it. It adds to my happiness so much. It has a lot of value in my lifestyle. So I just want to share that. People could be like, Jose, if you didn't eat at night, you could weigh 3 pounds less. And I'd be like, I don't care. Straight trade. I'm going to keep eating it at night and keep 3 pounds. Like I could not care less.
It's like me and alcohol.
Right.
If you didn't drink alcohol, Alicia, you could weigh 5 pounds less. Don't care.
Don't care. So when that noise comes around, and I almost started to get not scared, but when we did the documentary and I knew I wanted to keep eating at night because it's part of my happiness, I was like, what am I going to eat? And I had a little moment where I'm like, can I really eat a Boston cream at 9:30 p.m. and still lose weight? Because what I eat right now at 9:30 p.m. is like 80 calories of crackers or but I don't eat a lot at night. I've created a really good relationship with it that I don't binge at night. I just do my thing. But when you're eating Tim Hortons and I want to eat at night, what am I going to eat? A donut, and there's no 70 calorie donut. There's a Timbit that's not big enough though. So I was like, yeah, you're going to leave space for a Boston cream every night. And I did that for a whole month and lost a lot of weight in February. So that documentary for us, Alicia and I, because we're the only two that experienced it. You watched us do it, and we hope that helped you create awareness in your life and your noise, and it healed some of your food trauma. But us in our lives, you don't even know how impactful that was in our own lives and our own noise and our own awareness.
100%. And why was it so impactful? We experienced it. And that's why now when I give advice to people, I'm so much pushing towards them experiencing things to believe it.
And the thing is the issue behind experiencing it is people don't want to give it the time. So that's another podcast on its own, but giving it the time, you guys, stop rushing through this journey. You're trying to create it. So this shit takes time. And I didn't know that I had lingering noise on nighttime eating and eating out. And I didn't have a lot of it, probably way less than all the rest of society has, but doing this, next level. Now I fear nothing. I really fear nothing. I'm like, you can eat whatever you want at night. It really doesn't matter. I just ate this. Or you can literally eat out a lot and still lose weight. I just did that. It's because I did it, I have more of an opinion on it, and I have way more knowing, which I love.
When you experience something, it goes from just knowledge to knowing. It's a different thing.
I love that.
I mean, it's why I feel like we are the most qualified to help people lose the weight, keep it off, people that have struggled with deep-rooted food issues. It's because we have knowing. It's not because we're at a certain weight. Like, oh gosh.
We are the most qualified because we are the most qualified in healing diet trauma, changing your language. We are the most qualified to help you with your relationship with food. I truly believe that.
Me too.
And I will say it over and over. And I don't care if you're like, well, you didn't study and whatever. I don't care. I healed my food issues. I can help you do the same. And I know it. You could study in healing your relationship with food. It will mean nothing if you've always had a good relationship with food. You will not understand what the people go through.
I mean, I wonder, I don't even know, like, is that even a course? It's probably just more like the academic stuff, you know what I mean? Which has value, of course, we're not saying that, but like when it comes to healing your relationship with food, this is where it's at.
Yeah, because that's emotion, that's mindset, that's experience.
I have a question for you. So you've like kind of always been a nighttime eater. Did you ever struggle? Because the reason why the diet industry created this rule is because a lot of the time it's not about just eating at night. It's that people eat like assholes at night.
Right.
And there's a very big difference between eating like your 150 calories of roast or pepper dip and crispy minis and binging thousands of calories in your pantry, right?
Right.
Did you ever struggle? Like, did you ever have to evolve your nighttime eating? Were you always able to eat reasonably at night? Like, tell me about that.
Great question. Absolutely needed to evolve like everything else, right? So it was never like so there were even times where nighttime eating was so bad and so high in calories because I would do what most of people would say they would do, that I also was like, okay, Josie, I guess the answer is the rule will be no more nighttime eating because you can't handle it. Okay. And then of course I've done that. Of course, everyone does that. When they see themselves lose control, instead of figuring it out and doing the mental work, they will say, I'm just going to give myself a rule of not doing it. And what would happen is then I would hate my life and I would do it for 1 week. And then I'd be back to, this. Jose, you really want to fit in? Like, cause I'm a person that like, I'm my own best friend, right? And I'm like, I know what makes me happy. So I will do what makes me happy. You know that eating at night makes you happy. Figuring it out, like do it, Josie. And so in order for me to get to the point where I'm at today, I needed to really prioritize figuring it out. And I also needed to not talk shit if ever I ended up binging because I'm trying to figure it out. You know, when you're trying to figure out stuff, you guys, you're going to fail. Like it's not, when you figure out, it's because you're struggling with that. So clearly it's not going to be perfect. So you got to give yourself time.
This is really good.
So I also want to say that I think that the issue behind the binging at night is clearly because people aren't recognizing other behavior patterns that they have. Restricting so much during the day is definitely one of the things. And also just there's the knowledge piece, but the guilt that they haven't healed yet. There is guilt behind eating at 9 p.m. that someone that's gone through the weight loss industry has that Jeff does not have when he goes and picks up his friggin' peanut butter and Ritz at 9:30 p.m. Jeff does not have that. Should I do it? Should I not? What time is it? Should I be eating because of the time? He doesn't have that conversation with himself. Whereas when you've been through the diet industry, we have a different relationship with food and we have a different relationship with eating at night.
Okay.
Done. And that relationship is making you binge and you don't know it, you know?
That was really incredible. Thank you for taking us along that journey. I'm going to sum up what you said because it was so good and people need to listen to it. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. Something big like nighttime eating, you need to be willing to make it work. I've eaten at night before and lost control. I've decided I don't want to make that work in my life.
Can I stop you right there?
Go.
I will give an example that you decided to make that work and I said I was going to give it up. Cooking with Dia. Listen, I would love to be able to make freaking cupcakes with her because she likes it and whatever. But I lose control every time. And she doesn't even freaking eat the cupcakes at the end of the day. And then I end up eating it. Jeff doesn't want cupcakes made by me. Noah doesn't eat cupcakes. And Dia eats one and is done.
Wait, cupcakes made by not Jose, by the box.
Exactly. And so he doesn't want those cupcakes, right? So they're left by me, and I don't want to eat them. I lose control. So I've chosen in my life that I don't cook. I don't bake at my house because I don't want to. I don't value it. Alicia has chosen to keep that activity in her life because she values that, and she figured it out. And that's just like, let it go.
And that took time for me too. Like, I used to lose control when I baked with the kids. Like, this is great. So first of all, you need to be willing to put in the work. It needs to be important to you. You see value in it. You feel like you need this for your long-term happiness, and you're willing to put in the work. Then you need to figure out, what are my triggers? What are my triggers to overeating at night? Is it what I'm eating? Is it what at night? Is it what I'm at? Like, because if you had Chicago mixed popcorn in your house, maybe you would struggle, right?
Absolutely. I want to say this, like, there are times where I try things in my house, and if the bag's gone in 2 days at 9:30 p.m., that's not, and I can choose whatever I want. I'm like, no, that's not how I want to behave. I don't buy it again. I don't talk shit. I move on with my life, lo.
So figuring out what is setting yourself up for success. You know what I mean? Like, do I need to make sure I feel satisfied during the day? I need to make sure I'm not hangry. I need to make sure there's specific food in my home that does make me feel good and I enjoy for nighttime eating, but I'm not as likely to overconsume it. I love what you said about if you did mess up. And I love this. And this makes me feel uncomfortable when I see people tracking the like number of days I didn't overeat at night or something. Like, that makes me scared for them almost, because as you're healing this and as you're working on this, Jose probably still has nights where you do this.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you didn't fix it. It doesn't mean you can never do it. And so the guilt and shame and, I guess I'm starting over. I guess I suck. That noise, that's damaging. So if you're trying to work on changing a certain habit right now, whether it's nighttime eating, whether it's baking with your kids, whether it's weekends, know that you will have weekends, times you bake with your kids, nighttime eating, that you completely lose control and overeat.
I want you to know that to be at your best, I don't want to say healthy weight, whatever, your weight where you feel good in your skin does not require you to never fail. It does not require you to never overeat. It does not require you to never lose control. It's like people think that that's what it requires to get to their goals. And I'm like, no, if your goal is just to feel comfortable in your skin and to love your life, trust me, there is room for failure, CQV. There is room for overeating. There's room for all of that. And you can really coexist both. So yeah.
And one last thing that you said is the guilt and the drama and the knowledge. So like, you really have to believe that eating at night itself will not make you gain weight in order for you to heal your trauma with nighttime eating. So, you really need to educate yourself on calorie deficit and just really remind yourself of that and experience that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And it's the best news, honestly, that like you can really build what you want your day to be and create your own rules. And Alicia does not eat at night. And because for her, it's just not worth it. Just like I don't bake because it's just not worth me putting myself in that position. It's just what it is. And we're okay with that. It's part of our way. Like I'm not like missing it. You're not missing it either. You're not like, wish I could eat at night. I'm not like, wish I could bake.
Like if
Perfect.
You said
don't have to wash anything.
You can never eat at night again. I'd be like, no problem. Literally no problem. But if you said you could never bake mini muffins again.
Exactly. Where I'm like, perfect. Thank you. Who's going to make them for me? I'll buy them from you. This was such a good talk.
Great talk. This would be a great one for you guys to share all over the internet because there's amazing value in this one.
I agree. And you know what? Like, there's something you said. I was thinking, and it was really good. And I want to say something, and then I forget. I'm so sorry, everyone, that this happens all the time. Pretty much every podcast.
The documentary really sealed the deal on the nighttime eating, though. And as people were watching us, they said, "Oh, you're not losing weight because you're not eating at night." And there's you at 9 p.m. You're like, "Except I am."
If you go, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And You know what, you guys, all the advice Alicia gave you on like how to figure out if you want to eat at night and whatever, like what your triggers are, look at all like that advice at the end of the day is creating awareness and self-reflection. Like you, in order for Alicia to make peace with the fact that she doesn't care about eating at night, she needed to talk to herself. And in order for me to figure it out and to be able to do what I do, I needed to prioritize a conversation of what do you want out of your way, Jose? Do you want to prioritize this? How will you do it? There's figuring out, there's a conversation, there's time, there's, you know, there's reflections. It doesn't just happen, you know. Okay, good talk, everyone.
Great.
All right, share everything. And our documentary is coming out in 2 weeks from today. Please support us. Watch our documentary premiere. It's going to be such a great night. We cannot wait to host you. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.